Well, welcome to the Agile Leadership Journeys Applied Programs Information session. This is focusing on our spring 2023 offerings. Let's start with who we are as an organization. We're a community of guides. All of our guides around the globe teach and coach leaders and their organizations to be more effective among change and complexity. We're here because we believe that organizations mirror their leadership. And so if we're looking for more agile, more adaptive organizations, we need to have more agile and adaptive leaders. We've got a few of our ALJ program staff with us. We've got a few guides with us. We've got a few past participants that are going to share with us today, and you, the prospective participants. We're focused on what we call our applied programs. Now, what this means is the applied programs are really going beyond the classroom, right? These are the ones where we're really diving in and working on specific behaviors and characteristics. And we have stuff on the leadership side and the organizational side. And I'm going to dive into these, mostly focusing on these first two. One is the growth mindset. And this is where we really dive into the expert and achiever catalyst, right? This is what it means to think internally, like, how am I oriented? How am I functioning? Where am I focusing? Do I focus on the work? Am I focused on coordinating work? Am I focused on coaching that work? What's that blend look like? So catalyst behaviors really starts to go into that horizontal development. A lot of the practices around catalyst conversations and feedback and coaching and focus, things like that. Both of these programs are built on a model where you are not traveling, you're in small cohorts, it's a very intimate setting, and you meet weekly in virtual sessions. And then we do have monthly global masterclass type learning sessions to kind of share across all the cohorts. We've got a couple of past participants here that I invited, Stephen and Kristen. Kristen, maybe we'll start with you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kristen Niemeyer. I did both of those programs last year. Really what I got out of these sessions was, like Pete says, it's applicable all day long to what you're working in. I'm head of agility for a company, and so everything that I'm doing is with leadership, and I'm in the middle of cultivating a team. And so what I really got out of it were the accountability. Number one, the accountability that to practice the things that we were talking and learning about. So I really loved the fact that I could share also in this peer group without feeling judged. It was a safe space where I could talk about my insecurities about dealing with a particular team, and then having not only our facilitator or our coach, Brad, asking the right questions and asking the hard questions, but having everybody else's opinion in the group to talk to and to say, hey, we get it. Well, have you tried this? Have you done this? All of this based on the learnings that we were taking from each of the classes, and then just learning those concepts together, because we all see things very differently. And then just really the accountability of, okay, I said I was going to do this week and it's really hard. Then having the team ask me, did you actually try that and did it work? Did it not work? Or did you wimp out? Did you not do it? And just having that accountability of the other people and to talk it over with. And if you did fail, and of course failure is okay, then let's talk about why we failed and maybe what we can try something different, if we can try something different.
Thank you, Kristen.
I just want to echo on something that Kristen said there. And the community of both the cohorts I went through was really powerful. And that ability to tap into other people's learnings, both the guides who did, both Brad and Christina did a fantastic job, but also the other people in there, world of different perspectives, world of different experiences, and those people to both hold you accountable and to give you great ideas. One of the things that I did in the second cohort was talking about, I was engaging in a new thing at work, and I work in legacy financial as part of enterprise and product transformation. We was engaging with a new group, and I talked about how I just really wanted to walk in the room like Don Draper and just like say like a bunch of great stuff and be smooth and look really good in Brooks Brothers or something. And one of the members of the course like, oh, you want some swagger, you want to walk in with confidence, you want to be ready. And that gave me a framing for it that I hadn't before, and it helped me with dealing with a little bit of imposter syndrome I think we all deal with in this business. And gave me, through that and through some further conversations with Christina, my cohort lead, and with others, gave me a great set of approaches using some of the Catalyst tool sets to really achieve some great results in the past quarter. And the cohort, I wouldn't have achieved those results without going through the cohort.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. I know Jesse and maybe Rashmi, maybe I'll let you guys add in, since you guys have also been more on that guide side.
One of the things that came out in our cohort was indeed that community aspect of it. That well, I'm not in this on my own. I'm not alone in this struggle of trying to be heard or trying to advocate for my positions and my recommendations in the face of organizational stupidity. And it's good to feel that there are other people who are running up against the same issues that I'm running up against in completely different industries, in completely different roles. There's the classic problem of the boss who doesn't get it. And so that was a theme. Those are the real heartwarming moments for me. Those are the like professional fist pumping yes moments where you get to see people rise up to support each other in their roles as leaders. And at any level in the organization, at any role in any industry, we all face similar challenges.
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. So in my cohort, most of the comments that I have heard is about that increased awareness. When you have that increased awareness, it leads to a different way of thinking and change in approach. They tweak the approach, to try and experiment, and they try that and then come back to the next class and say, this is what happened. And this is, we succeeded here or we failed here. And then instead of feeling bad about the failure, we all get together and discuss, what is it that we can do, in order to make this successful the next time we try it. Right. So because we had a small intimate group of 5 people across different geographies this time, there was a lot of different kind of perspective sharing, which made so much richer the conversations that we all had. And one of the comments they also most often mentioned is because of that self-awareness, increased self-awareness, it led to increased adaptability in how they approached or how they thought about things. That was one. Another comment that I heard a lot, not just in this cohort, but the previous one is also the role play aspect, right? When you do the role play before you actually go into the real scenario, it gives you that confidence of what went well and what did not go well prior to whatever you're going to try. That gives them the extra confidence, improves your power and presence in the conversations to be a lot more successful than you would be without this group conversations or the role play. So these are some of the great, things that have happened in my cohort. And for me as a guide, I end up learning so much more along with the participants and their conversation. It makes me feel so good about.
Just recognize the difference in these two programs. Growth Mindset's more internal about you. The Catalyst Behaviors is more external. How do you engage? And then the Growth Mindset's more about your vertical growth. That's about what Rashmi's talking about, awareness, right? That awareness of my own leadership. And then Catalyst Behaviors is more of what we call that horizontal development. What's, you're developing that breadth of skills, and they're both valuable in terms of leadership growth. So Tracy is part of our ALJ staff and key into our program development as well. So Tracy.
Thanks. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is, how do these programs relate to Scrum Alliance Certified Agile Leadership? And so just to give a little bit of information, all of these programs that are on here are Agility in Leadership, Agility in Orgs, and the Applied Agility in Leadership do align with the Scrum Alliance learning objectives. So people who are seeking that can be awarded certification for these programs. So this isn't relevant for everyone. It's not relevant for all participants. It's not relevant for all of our guides. Some people are within the Scrum Alliance world and others are not. So for the programs that we're talking about right now, the Applied Agility programs, the two programs together, Growth Mindset and Catalyst Behaviors, make up the Applied Agility and Leadership. So you complete 2 parts. You can do them one right after each other. You can do one and take a break. But the 2 parts together make up Cal 2 for Scrum Alliance. And if you register through our public program, everyone who does that is eligible for Cal 2. Another question we get asked related to this is, hey, I took Cal 1 a long time ago, or I took Cal E with a different provider. Can I take your program? And yes, absolutely. It doesn't matter if you've gone to Cal with another provider. Each Cal program is different, but we do some catch up in our program. So if you didn't take our introductory workshops, you won't be behind. We will catch you up on the concepts that we're covering. We really strive to make our pricing fair and equitable, and nothing is perfect, but we've aligned our global pricing to the United Nations Inequality Human Development Index. So what these categories refer to is the countries that the UN has categorized countries for. And so, for example, if you're in the US or Germany, you're category 1, your pricing for each of these programs would be $27.50 for if you take them individually. If you're in, let's say, category 3, Brazil, then your pricing would be $13.75 US. We do also combine, we know a lot of people want to do the bundled program. So if you take the classes together, sign up for those together, it includes the Scrum Alliance certification. So again, respectively, category 1, $49.95 and discounted thereafter.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Pete, this is Murli here.
Yeah.
From Bangalore, India. Hi.
Yeah, welcome.
So my background has been more that, I've been an Agile coach and I have been coaching teams and also I had been coaching business leadership, right? And that's an experience that I have gained recently. But I was kind of keen to understand that, with my background, is this the roadmap that you should be taking, in terms of moving towards an Agile guide kind of an approach, or I just want to kind of get your thoughts on this, right?
That's a great question. And I'm going to let some of our participants and maybe even bring Tomas in, since Tomas is both a coach and he's been through some of these programs. But we often get, I would say, 30% to 50% of our participants are in the coaching realm. Agile coaches or executive coaches or other things. And actually we find that to be a really interesting blend, is that mix where you get coaches talking to leaders and leaders talking to coaches in the same cohorts and breakouts. So that's actually something we find to be quite valuable. But let me leave it to some of the others to share maybe from a coaching perspective, like if you are more of a coach than a leader, how are these programs maybe helpful? Start with Tomas.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. So I work as an Agile coach also here in Brazil. I'm an OKR expert. So when I went through the program, what was very clear to me is that, I was missing some behaviors as a consultant, as a coach. I was missing some mindsets to be able to have better conversation with stakeholders, to be able to really help the company to go through their transitions or transformations, So the program was very helpful for me to somehow adapt the way I deliver my coaching work, my consulting work in a more effective way, the way I engage with teams, the way I do my one-on-one coaching with people, the way I help other leaders to build their transformation programs. So yeah, from a coach perspective, that was something really, really important to me.
Okay, thank you so much.
So this is Jesse. There's a really compelling question in the chat window from Rajarshi. What outcomes did the participants see in their organization post the implementation of the learnings? And I can tell you that in my cohort, over the course of the 2 semesters, we had a continuation. There were 3 promotions, and those promotions were correlated with impact in the organization. Now, can I take credit for them becoming so amazing and doing such amazing work that they had more impact and then got a promotion? I think it was more that the people who are most talented are the ones who seek the most help. And that's what I felt, is that these were people that were already going to have a positive impact. They were already shining brightly in their workplace. And by seeking a community and a curriculum to support them in their growth, they sustained over the long haul. That one woman had to fight for 2 years to get her vice president promotion that she was due. Another woman had to navigate interpersonal conflict in politics to earn the manager title that she deserved. And another woman was facing all kinds of executive pressure about what Agile is supposed to mean. And she just held her space. She held her ground. And they gave her the biggest bonus that she's had while she's been working there. So it's not so much that there's a direct line of sight from this curriculum to organizational impact, because what stands in the middle there is the leader. And so I think that's a really powerful question, Rajarshi, because what it amplifies is that our mission field is not the curriculum, it's the leader.
That's what I really enjoyed about this course, or these two courses, these cohorts, is the degree of practicality and applicability that was baked into everything. When we went through a concept, it wasn't a theoretical concept to move on past. It was, how are you going to use this? Let's talk about how we're going to use this. Kristen, how are you going to use this? Steve, how are you going to use this? And then let's come back next week and hold ourselves accountable to that. That degree of practice between individuals that, much like the folks that are considering this, are dedicated to getting better. We're all on a self-leadership growth journey if we're doing this transformation thing right. And my ability to grow helps those around me to grow. And that's part of how I look at it. It's a lens I got from Pete back about a year ago. And it's been a very powerful lens. And Jesse, I'm also fortunate to be in that group that's been promoted and shortly thereafter going through the program.
Yeah, so one of the things I also wanted to add was one powerful story a participant shared was, before at the time she joined the program, she was considered as a number-driven person, and people were operating out of fear, for the deliverables that were involved. But after the program, she wrote in the retrospective, and she shared the whole story, saying that her social acceptance and likability improved, which actually bettered the relationships, and the deliverables came as a byproduct rather than, they're working out of fear. So for me, that was a big win, though it's not tangible from how Jesse shared. It does, add on to some larger results that's going to happen in some time, since it's a journey.
So those are the two main kind of what we call cohort programs. If you're looking for something a little bit more individual, or even to go deeper after the cohort programs or before, the ChangeWise Leadership Agility 360 and coaching is an opportunity to really dive in and get data on your expert achiever catalyst mindset. Gives you a one-on-one relationship with a guide, multiple coaching sessions here to kind of dive into that data, really build that relationship and improve your leadership. Again, IHDI pricing on those programs for that individual one-on-one. Tracy, do you want to just talk briefly on the shaping culture?
So as Pete showed from the very beginning, there were two different tracks, the leader and the org. And so this is our next step on the org side. So people have done the introductory or Cal-O course, and they're looking to really make change within their organization. These are structured as private small team endeavors. So you are working with your leadership team or a dedicated change team within your organization. We're looking for at least 3 people in your organization. If you're ready to take that step, we feel that that's necessary to help influence change. And this program is going to be leveraging some of the things we introduced in the intro workshops, the competing values framework, and also we are partnering with the Business Agility Institute and looking at their domains of business agility and the 18 competencies that they've identified.
And again, the pricing for that is a leadership team-based pricing, right? So this would be bringing this into a change group or a leadership team, not individual. Questions you have, we haven't answered yet regarding any of these programs that could help you in the next step?
Hey, Pete, one question I have is, what kind of support, like once you've completed the program, do you continue to have? Like, is there, a regular connection between the groups so that way you can kind of touch base again, and see how things are going? Is there any kind of alumni call or anything like that out there?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, Sonny. Yes. So once you join any of our applied programs, you're entered into a workspace and a community of leaders. We continue to offer our global sessions for any past participants, and that's something you can stay involved in. So that ongoing learning is available to you. That's an area we'll probably continue to develop and grow over time. Kristen and Stephen, you guys have kind of maintained a cohort relationship past the program. Is that true?
We do. We meet when we can. These last month we weren't able to meet, but we'll be meeting soon. And actually, Steve and I and one other dude still continue to talk and have coffees when we can. Anyway, when we have questions, and so you have the support from other people in the cohort as well. Some more than others, but have more time. We're all busy, but we have continued to meet and support each other, and it's kind of a great relationship because you're really opening up with the groups and creating that collaboration.
It is, and it's a wonderful group to connect with because of the shared history through the program, but also because we're all facing the same challenges, but in different spaces. And it creates a really strong bond and a really great intellectual bond where we can throw ideas back and forth with each other. And it's a very just open, free space.
So one of my cohort continues to meet just to practice the Catalyst conversations if they know there is a challenging, conversation that's going to happen, in their workspaces.
Peter, Murli here. So I had another question.
Yeah.
Once you do this, by the way, I'm not a big fan of certification when I ask you this question. But once you do this two programs, right? I mean, do you got? I mean, is there kind of some recognition within the industry that you've gone through this and you are kind of suitable to do these kind of jobs? I mean, is that how it's seen, or I mean, what's your view on this? I just want to kind of understand.
Sure. We have a dual relationship with certification. The way I look at it, leaders who are up and coming look at certification as a way for credibility, and that's valuable, right? So Cal 2 can be a valuable certification. Even our applied agility and leadership can be a valued certificate, a badge of completion of learning. And I think it does demonstrate your intent to grow as a better leader. What we find is once a leader hits a certain level, like maybe director, VP, certifications kind of fall away, right? The experience and those titles tend to be more valuable. So for us, when we're approaching some of those more senior leaders, it's much less about the certification. What they want to know is this a trusted, respected, valued organization? And we're navigating both of those environments. We recognize we want to grow those early leaders, but at the same time, the most impactful leaders are the ones at the top. And so we are trying to service both. We often get both through our programs. And even having some of that mix can be quite powerful. So yes, for new leaders, for leaders who are trying to emerge as better leaders, I think it shows a dedication and a willingness to challenge yourself.
Sure. Thanks, Pete.
The spring programs start in the beginning of March, and they go through the end of May, early June, depending on your cohort schedule. But it's about a 3-month program, so it should be done by summertime for you to enjoy your holiday break. And then the fall classes pick up in September. So feel free to reach out to us. Send emails to info@agileleadershipjourney.com. The website has all the information on the registration. We appreciate you joining today and enjoy the journey.